Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chin Chin with Ted. I'm Sydney Macheski, and this is Ted Ross, the sommelier of Vincent Joe's Markets. So, Ted, tell me a little bit about what you brought out for us today.
Yeah, today's episode is all about spring. Spring is in the air here at Vincent Joe's Market. We're really excited after that long and brutal winter that we had here and
endured. Tell me about it.
So I've got some nice light wine and beers to celebrate warmer weather and the cuisine that comes with it.
Excellent.
So let's start with one of my favorite things to drink in the springtime, and that's rosé.
Okay.
I picked two of my favorites. These are both out of the south of France, probably the most celebrated region in the world for fine rosé production.
Okay.
We will start with Chateau de la Roulerie. This is Rosé d'Anjou, and Rosé d'Anjou comes from Anjou, which is a region actually on the central western part of France, on the coastal Atlantic coast. And Anjou is a sub-appellation of the Loire Valley. This wine is made out of a grape called Graulot. It's one of the only places in the world where you'll see Graulot grown and made into rosé.
So this is a special wine.
This is a very special wine. Not expensive, but very special.
Great.
So yeah, the first thing you notice when you look at a bottle of rosé, obviously, is the color, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how does wine get its color? Well, when you bite into a grape, let's do it right here. Look inside.
Okay.
The meat of the grape is white.
Mm-hmm.
All of the pigment and the color from these wines comes from the skins.
Okay.
So when the winemakers are making these wines and they macerate those grapes, the amount of time that they let the juice of the grapes spend on the skins will determine how much color is imparted into the wine. So these wines see a really brief skin contact. Mm-hmm. You get a little bit of color off of the red grapes, make a pink wine. Perfect for just quaffing in the sunshine. They work really well with light salads, grilled shrimp, that kind of stuff. Just nice, light, refreshing cuisine.
Okay.
The second one I brought is Commanderie de la Bargemont. This is from Aix-en-Provence. Provence is down in the south, southern coast of France. This one is made out of Cinsault and Syrah. Although they're both French rosés, they're pretty different stylistically. Mm-hmm. This one you'll find to be a little more fragrant, more floral. You'll taste like wild strawberries, and there's a very, very slight sweetness on the finish. Whereas this, the Bargemont, is all about cleanliness, minerality. You still get some of those berry flavors, more strawberry, but it's really, really clean and easy to drink.
Could you pair these two with the same meal? Or
You could. I think that the Roulerie works better as a cocktail, maybe while you're getting your meal ready. Mm-hmm. And then the Bargemont, because of the minerality and the dryness, works better with the food. But I mean, we're splitting hairs here. They're both great. Yeah. So next on the list, I've got two really nice white wines from the north of Michigan. April is Michigan Wine Month. We're finishing it up right now, but it's definitely something to mention because Michigan wines are a very important part of our business here at Vincent Joe's.
Of course.
And we're really proud to promote anything locally made and locally produced. So a common question I get when I look at these, when someone looks at these two bottles, Pinot Grigio, Pinot Gris. What's the difference?
I don't know. Tell me.
Really nothing. They're the same grape varietal. In this instance, the winemakers are using the terms as a descriptor of the style.
Okay.
Pinot Gris being a French interpretation of the grape, Pinot Grigio being a northern Italian interpretation. So generally, the Pinot Grigios that come out of Italy are going to be more floral, softer, just kind of easier to drink, whereas the French interpretations will be more minerally, more crisp, and slightly more serious, more substantial wines. That's not always the case. I mean, these are just kind of broad descriptions. So in Michigan, growing the same grape varietal, the winemakers will use those terms to describe how they want their wine perceived, basically. So Bowers Harbor Pinot Grigio is going to be lighter and quaffable, and the Black Star Farms medal-winning Pinot Gris will be more of a serious wine. Both made out of the same grape.
Okay.
So that really showcases a winemaker's ability to manipulate what Mother Nature has given them.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know very much about wine, but my parents do. They're complete winos.
Sure.
They're actually turning one of our rooms in our basement into a wine cellar.
I love it.
So I will most definitely pass on my limited knowledge from what you've told me and tell them to stock up because these all sound wonderful.
Oh, they're great. I mean, this time of year, they're perfect.
Yeah.
Next down the list, I wanted to showcase a red wine that works well with something coming off the grill, something charred.
Great.
You know, and I came across this little bottle a couple months ago, and it's really unique in the fact that it's a grape that's notoriously difficult to grow in our cool climate in Michigan. Well, Mr. Bergdorf and his wife on the west side of our state managed to do it. Most of these grapes come from Michigan State University's viticultural school, some from the Lake Michigan shore, and these guys did a really nice job with this Syrah. Syrah is notorious for needing a long, hot season to ripen fully and make wine. And these guys did it. Lake Michigan, the appellation of Lake Michigan on our western side of the state benefits from slightly warmer temperatures than the north of our state does. So that helps in ripening varietals like this.
Right.
But yeah, he did a great job with this. So, you know, if you're doing lamb chops, you're doing a nice steak on the grill, things like that, that works great. You get kind of a peppery, white pepper, blackberry, vanilla from the oak it's aged in sort of flavors, and it works awesome.
You're getting me hungry.
All right. And what now?
What about this last one? Are these both the same, or?
So yeah, we should probably talk about Prosecco.
Yeah.
So no party's complete without Prosecco, right? One of my favorite cocktails out there. Prosecco is a sparkling wine that comes from northern Italy. This one comes from Valdobbiadene, which is the spot for Prosecco.
Okay.
It's a very clean, neutral wine that can be made into many different cocktails. Can be served on its own. You know, Bellinis, mimosas, spritzers, that kind of thing, all work really well with Prosecco.
Great.
So we're definitely got to include that in our list here.
So Ted, I know Mother's Day is coming up,
Yep.
and after I pick up a delicious torte here from the Vincent Joe's Bakery, what wine would you suggest that I pair with that?
Moscato d'Asti is king. You know, when we're talking about lighter fruit-based desserts that I think work really well this time of year. I picked two of my favorites here. So the grape that this wine is made out of is Moscato.
Okay.
The region is Asti. Asti does not mean bubbles. Asti is a special place where Moscato thrives.
Okay.
It's in Piedmont, up in the north of Italy. So these wines are generally low in alcohol. They have a slight effervescence to them, a frizzante. They're sweet, they're aromatic, they smell like apricots and honeydew and flowers, and nice and luscious and frothy and sweet, and just super, super easy to drink and work really well with desserts or brunch or
brunch is so big right now.
Yeah.
Everyone loves to go to brunch.
Or nothing, or just any, you know, on its own. It's great. So these are served chilled, and they're fabulous.
Great.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I know, Ted, you brought in some Michigan beers today, and I know you said they were a little lighter than other beers. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. We are the great beer state.
Yes, we
Michigan
are.
has experienced a renaissance the last 10 years or so with numerous award-winning breweries opening all around our state. So I really want to showcase, the great beer state.
Great.
We should be proud of it.
We should.
Two of my favorite breweries I brought today. Founders out of Grand Rapids.
Okay.
Probably the most award-winning brewery our state has, and our country has as well. I mean, numerous international awards for these guys. And the Rubaeus is their spring seasonal ale, which just released a couple weeks ago. And it's made with Michigan-grown raspberries. It's rich, but it's refreshing. You get that really, really powerful, fragrant flavor of raspberries with a nice, light, semi-sweet finish.
Okay.
And it's just super refreshing for this time of year.
Yeah, I know I've said before that beer for me is kind of heavy.
Yeah.
But this sounds wonderful.
It
Very
is.
refreshing, very light.
It's great. Yeah. It's just nice and easy to drink. Then I brought Atwater Blocks, Detroit's own Atwater Block. Their Dirty Blonde Ale, which is based off of a Belgian wit style of beer. Wit meaning, white ale. These are brewed with mostly wheat. That's the fermentable, where we get the alcohol for the beer, and then flavored with orange peel and coriander. Coriander provides a little bit of spiciness. Orange peel, obviously, that refreshing citrus characteristic.
You know, this is a really cool label. Do you know how it got its name?
I'm assuming, you know, when you get this cold and you agitate it and pour it into a nice wheat glass, the color of the beer is going to be kind of a dirty blonde color.
Okay.
I would assume there's a hidden message here as well, maybe that the guys at Atwater could tell us about. But let's go with the color of the beer, the cloudy blonde color of that beer.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Then I brought Schöfferhofer. This is really cool stuff. Basically a Radler, which is an old style of beer that was made for bicyclists that were touring Bavaria.
Oh,
they needed a nice, light, low alcohol, refreshing beverage to get them through their journey.
Because sometimes water just doesn't cut
Water just doesn't cut it, right? So Schöfferhofer is 2.5% alcohol.
Okay.
It's a wheat-based German beer with fresh grapefruit, and it is just fantastic. You open one of those, it smells just like that. It is to die for. Yeah. So drink frequently, drink often. Schöfferhofer. Yeah. And then I brought Blanche de Namur, which is an authentic Belgian wit.
Okay.
Basically, Belgian interpretation of the dirty blonde. So orange peel, coriander, unfiltered wheat base, cloudy, refreshing, awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you sold me on all of these. I just want to have my barbecue in the summer and just kind of throw a couple of these bad boys back.
Drink up. Yeah.
So thank you, Ted Ross, for another episode of Chin Chin at Vincent Joe's Market of Shelby Township. Now that we have a very great understanding of the beverages for the spring and summer, I think we can safely say that we are going to have a great time.
Chin Chin.